Today I'm going to be reviewing a devotional from Crossway, and this one is called Daily Joy. It is a devotional for women, and there's several contributors to this. I'm just going to hold this up so I won't have to read all those names, and you can see that there. And this 365-day devotional features content adapted from the ESV Women's Devotional Bible and offers daily inspiration to equip women for genuine life transformation. So if you were thinking about getting the ESV Women's Devotional Bible, there's also some of these devotionals in the ESV Women's Study Bible. This is one volume that has all of them plus more put together in one book called Daily Joy. And then each Daily Joy devotional includes a Bible passage along with a short reflection on the text, offering women ongoing encouragement for their daily walk with Christ. Arranged in order from Genesis to Revelation, there is at least one devotional for every book of the Bible from more than 50 contributors. So this is a great one too. If you are doing a read through the Bible plan in the next year here, if you're starting that in 2024 or anytime, you can kind of obviously it doesn't have one for every verse and chapter in the Bible, would be huge, but you can somewhat follow along in this because it does go from pick options of scripture from Genesis through Revelation in order. You're going to have a ribbon marker in this Bible to mark your place, kind of like a peachy gold color here. This is a nice cloth overboard hardcover. So in this book, we're going to have introduction, we're going to get contributors, we're going to have the daily devotionals, some notes, and then an index of scripture references. So this is the introduction, just to give you a little idea of what you're going to see in the Bible here. Here are our list of contributors. And then this is the first devotional. So nice and easy to read. It starts with January 1st, so they are dated. All the devotionals are dated, so it would be, again, great for a Bible in a year plan. The first devotional is from Genesis 2. So if I was following in this, I would grab my Bible, I would read Genesis 2, and then I would come back and read the devotional. This is A Helper Fit for Him by Sam Storms. And then it's a page and a little bit of the next page. So you can see these devotionals are also, some are even shorter than that. They're very short, bite-sized devotionals that you could very easily do before you go to work in the morning or before you go to bed at night or when you first get up in the morning or whenever you have time. And it's going to be a great time to get in the Word without being super overwhelming and lengthy. And it gives you some time to still get your quiet time in, even if you're having a very busy day. So then January 2nd is going to be Genesis 3, on the fall of man and the grace of God, and that's written by Erica Allen. So you can see they are nice and short. I think I will read one of these just so you can get an idea of what they sound like. So I don't want to pick one they're really all about the same length, but I don't want to go anything too long here, but I'm just going to randomly read one. Here's January 10th. This is Genesis 35, verses 1 through 15, The One Who Answers Me, and this is Elizabeth W.D. Groves, who wrote this one. So it says, God keeps his promises. This passage tells of God calling someone to stop, stand still, and remember that. The last time Jacob was in Bethel 20 years earlier, he was fleeing from his brother Esau in Genesis 29. At that time, God promised Jacob that he would be with him, protect him, and return him to the promised land, that Jacob would inherit that land, and that his offspring would be as plentiful as the dust and would be a blessing to all the people of the earth. Now Jacob has 12 sons, and the Lord has returned him safely to the land, even though the hazardous re-encounter with Esau in chapter 33. Even through the hazardous re-encounter. God changed Jacob's name and sent him back to Bethel, the place where the promises had been made, where he could remember them and reflect on God's faithfulness. Jacob could look back over his life and see how God had been faithful at all points. In Genesis 35:3, Jacob describes God as the God who answers me. The Hebrew verb has the sense of ongoing action. As he stopped and reflected on that, it would have helped Jacob to trust God to be faithful to the parts of the promises that had not yet come to fulfillment, including a new promise God had made to him, that kings would be among his descendants. God's faithfulness to Jacob also demonstrated his faithfulness to his larger promises to Jacob's family line, like land and descendants. and to his plan for history to bless all nations through them. The promise of royal descendants originally given to Abraham and Sarah was fulfilled not only in David and the kings of Judah, but preeminently in Jesus. He is the king through whom God's blessing to Abraham and Jacob would come to all nations. As Jacob trusted the Lord to keep his promise of kingly descendants, he was looking ahead to Christ, the ultimate fulfillment of that promise. Today, we, like Jacob, can look back on God's faithfulness. We have the advantage of seeing it displayed so much more clearly and gloriously in the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus. As we stop and reflect on it, our faith is strengthened to trust God in the present as well as for the future. We look ahead to Jesus coming again as a triumphant king. Stop and reflect on specific details of God's past faithfulness to you, maybe even difficult things God has brought you through, as he did Jacob. Reflect on his faithfulness to his plan of salvation accomplished by Jesus, and gain confidence to trust him in the present and the future. Remember and hope, because God keeps his promises. Let's just give you a little idea of what you're going to see. Obviously, there's many different authors and contributors in this devotional, but just to give you an idea of what it sounds like. So what I like about this, I like that it gives you, breaks it down into 365 readings. The devotionals are long enough to have some depth to them, but short enough that you can complete them on a busy day. And I really love there's a scripture verse and reference to go with each of them, so I can look that up in my Bible and have some quiet time in my Bible before I turn to the devotional. So this would make a great Christmas present for any woman in your life. Be a great daily devotional for you to start as we're approaching the new year, 2024, and go through it throughout that year and enjoy all the different devotionals. So the layout's pretty much the same, like I said, throughout. It's dated, it has a scripture verse, it has the title, the author of the devotional, and then devotional's like a page and a half to maybe half a page, depending. And it's just a really great layout to encourage your quiet devotional time with the Lord. So again, this is Daily Joy. It is from Crossway, and it is a great devotional that has over 50 contributors and would be a great option to go through in a year. And the notes are taken from the ESV Women's Devotional Bible.